What if I told you that the real reason many women are attracted to older men has very little to do with wealth? You've noticed it before. Maybe you've even wondered why so many younger women seem interested in men with gray hair, wrinkles, and years of life experience, while overlooking men their own age who are healthy, energetic, and readily available. The truth is probably not what most people assume. It's not primarily about money. It's not simply about social status. And it's definitely not just about financial security. Something much deeper is happening beneath the surface, something many men, regardless of age, completely fail to recognize. Once you understand it, your entire perspective on attraction, relationships, and what women genuinely value begins to make sense. So let's explore it together. Let's uncover the hidden reasons many women are drawn to older men and why this preference is not only common but also connected to psychology, life experience, and human nature itself. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said that it's not what happens to us that matters most, but how we respond to it. And the way a woman responds to a man's presence, his energy, his behavior, and his emotional stability reveals a great deal about what she truly appreciates. If she consistently finds herself attracted to older men, it isn't because she's superficial. It's often because older men have learned to respond differently to life's challenges, relationships, and emotional situations. That difference is exactly what many women are searching for. Number 1, understanding and patience. This may be the most important reason of all. Older men have already traveled through the turbulence of youth. They've experienced the urgency, the impatience, and the constant desire to prove themselves. They've made mistakes, learned painful lessons, and discovered that forcing things rarely works. They understand that pressure damages connection. They know that meaningful relationships take time. They recognize that some of life's greatest rewards come only through patience. So when a woman says she's exhausted, needs some time alone, or simply isn't emotionally available in a particular moment, an older man is less likely to react with fear or insecurity. He doesn't immediately assume something is wrong. He doesn't become defensive. He doesn't interpret her need for space as a personal attack. Instead, he understands. He accepts her reality. He recognizes that people become tired, stressed, overwhelmed, and emotionally drained. He knows that trying to push someone beyond their limits is one of the fastest ways to destroy trust and intimacy. Now compare that to a younger man who may still be operating from insecurity or scarcity. When he hears "not tonight" or "I need some space," his mind may begin racing. Did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest? Is someone else getting her attention? Rather than seeing her feelings as a normal human experience, he may interpret them as rejection. As a result, he pushes harder. He argues. He tries to persuade. He may even make her feel guilty. Suddenly, connection becomes transactional. I did this for you. I've been waiting. I've invested my time. And that pressure, that invisible expectation, creates distance instead of closeness. What should feel safe begins to feel stressful. Epictetus also taught that no meaningful achievement appears overnight. The same principle applies to intimacy and connection. Neither can be forced. Neither can be demanded. They must be built through patience, respect, consistency, and presence. Older men understand this lesson. They've learned that genuine intimacy is not about winning, conquering, or proving something. It's about creating enough trust that another person feels comfortable lowering their guard. And that only happens when someone feels respected, understood, and free to express themselves honestly. Number 2, the depth of care and nurturing. This is another area where older men often have a significant advantage. Many younger men care deeply, but sometimes their care depends on circumstances. They care when things are smooth. They care when everything is going according to plan. They care when they feel appreciated. But when difficulties arise, when emotions become complicated, or when expectations aren't being met, that care can begin to fade. It becomes conditional. It becomes an exchange. You give me something, and I'll give you something in return. Older men often approach care differently. Through experience, they've learned that care is not a reward. It's a foundation. They don't offer kindness because someone has earned it. They offer it because it reflects who they have become. They've experienced enough relationships to understand that nobody is perfect. Everyone has difficult days. Everyone struggles. Sometimes a woman doesn't need solutions. Sometimes she simply wants support. Sometimes she doesn't need advice. She needs understanding. This isn't about treating her as weak. It's about allowing her to be human. It's about creating an environment where she doesn't have to hide her emotions or pretend to have everything figured out. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind gradually takes on the color of its dominant thoughts. When a man's mindset is rooted in genuine care, his actions naturally reflect that mindset. He doesn't just talk about caring. He demonstrates it. He listens carefully. He pays attention. He remembers details. He shows up when it matters. He creates moments that make her feel important and valued. Not because she's perfect. Not because she's the only woman in existence. But because he understands how powerful it is to make someone feel truly seen. That feeling leaves a lasting impression. That's why many women stay. That's why many women choose older men. Not because of material possessions. Not because of status symbols. But because of how those men make them feel. Understood. Appreciated. Respected. Cherished. No amount of youthful energy, physical appearance, or luxury possessions can replace that experience. Number 3, the art of touch and preparation. This is an area where many men misunderstand what truly matters. Older men often recognize that meaningful intimacy isn't about rushing toward an outcome. It's about the entire experience. It's about attention. It's about awareness. It's about understanding another person's comfort level, emotions, and needs. They know that preparation matters. They understand that comfort matters. They recognize that connection begins long before any intimate moment itself. Think about the contrast. A younger man may become focused on reaching a goal as quickly as possible. His attention centers on the destination. An older man often focuses on the journey. He pays attention to details. He notices reactions. He reads body language. He understands pacing. And because of that awareness, the entire experience feels different. When the moment ends, he doesn't immediately disconnect. He remains present. He continues the conversation. He continues the connection. Seneca wrote that true happiness comes from enjoying the present moment without constantly worrying about what comes next. Older men frequently embody this principle. They are not always racing toward the next thing. They are engaged with what's happening right now. Their attention is focused. Their presence feels intentional. And that changes everything. When someone feels genuinely valued and considered, the experience becomes more meaningful. Instead of feeling like part of a process, she feels like an equal participant. She feels respected. She feels appreciated. She feels important. And those feelings tend to leave a lasting impact. Number 4, energy and pacing. This point surprises many people, but it may be one of the most powerful reasons. Younger men often possess tremendous energy. But that energy can sometimes be scattered. It can be driven by impulse, insecurity, or a constant need to prove themselves. Everything becomes a performance. Everything becomes a competition. Everything becomes a test. And that intensity can become exhausting. Many women eventually grow tired of constantly managing someone else's need for validation. Older men tend to bring a different type of energy. It's calmer. More focused. More intentional. More grounded. They are usually less concerned with proving themselves because they've already faced many of life's major challenges. They've built careers. They've overcome setbacks. They've experienced success and failure. They've endured disappointment and growth. Through those experiences, they've developed a stronger sense of identity. As a result, they often enter relationships without the same need for external validation. They're not constantly performing. They're simply present. And that calm presence creates emotional space. It allows a woman to relax. It allows her to be herself. It allows the relationship to breathe. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we have power over our own minds, not over external events. Older men often understand this principle deeply. They spend less time trying to control outcomes. Less time trying to impress. Less time seeking approval. Instead, they focus on who they are. And that quiet confidence is incredibly attractive. For many women, it feels refreshing. It feels safe. It feels stable. And stability is something that cannot be faked. So let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed a woman showing a preference for older men? Have you wondered why someone would choose experience over youth? Do you believe it's simply about financial resources? Or could there be something much deeper happening beneath the surface? The reality is that most women aren't just searching for a provider. They're searching for presence. They're searching for patience. They're searching for emotional maturity. They're searching for a man who knows how to listen, how to care, how to remain calm, and how to make them feel understood. Older men often possess these qualities because life has taught them those lessons. But here's the encouraging part. You don't need gray hair to develop them. You don't need decades of experience before you begin. You can start right now. You can become more patient. You can become more present. You can improve your ability to listen. You can learn to communicate with greater understanding. You can develop emotional strength and maturity. Because women are not attracted to older men simply because of their age. They're attracted to the wisdom, stability, and self-awareness that age often brings. And those qualities are available to any man willing to cultivate them. Epictetus reminded us that nothing truly worthwhile is built instantly. The same is true of becoming a remarkable man. It happens through small choices repeated consistently over time. Every moment you choose patience instead of pressure, you move closer to becoming that man. Every time you choose presence instead of performance, you move closer to becoming that man. Every time you choose understanding instead of control, you move closer to becoming that man.